If you thought just drinking milk or eating yogurt is going to influence your bones, you need to think again. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Tidman. This is part 4 of my Bones 101 series, but this part does talk about diet. Of course, you're going to hear familiar stuff on this video that I have talked about in my other videos. I would encourage you to go on my channel and watch my osteoporosis video. But this series went through different areas that you can work on with natural approaches to help your bones. Be sure to subscribe so you'll know when I post the next video. Remember that information on my channel is for information and education only. If you need to change anything, consult your own medical team. I'm going to talk about nutrition and bone health briefly. Of course, the ketogenic diet and the addition of high-fat dairy, foods to include and foods to take out, and I'm sure you know these by now. So this is the carbohydrate continuum. I have shared this on many of my videos. This continuum shows that different people can tolerate different levels of carbohydrates in their diet. If you're completely healthy and 20 years old, you might do just fine on a vegan diet for a while. Vegetarians are very healthy if you don't have any intolerances to the vegetables you're eating. Of course, the standard American diet isn't going to be healthy for very long. There's certainly a lot of people out there eating this diet. But then we start into the carbohydrate reduction end of this continuum. A Mediterranean diet is about 60% carbohydrates, but there's also lots of fish and healthy olive oil on this diet. No, the Mediterranean diet is not all the pasta you can eat. A traditional Mediterranean diet has meats and fish and healthy fats with green vegetables and other low glycemic vegetables. Then once you have some health conditions you're working on, you need to start towards the other end of this continuum. Low carb can be something like 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates per day, and many people who have no medical conditions do just fine on this approach. But then once you have major issues you're working on, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, PCOS, these are just a few, then you need to work your way towards the other end of this continuum. I myself eat low carb ketogenic, so my carbs are down at 20 grams per day, which is towards the ketogenic end of this continuum. But for my health, this is where I need to be. So think about what you're working on and some of the conditions you have, and start maybe in the middle of this continuum, or maybe with your carbohydrates at 50 total grams per day. And then see how you do. Of course, you won't know unless you're testing with a glucose and ketone meter. Traditionally, these are the healthy foods. Meat, which is pork and beef or venison or wild game, or lamb, of course, goat for some of my international listeners. So when I say meat, it could be your native meats that you eat, your ruminant meats, lamb and goat and caribou and venison, antelope. And then, of course, fish and seafood, poultry and eggs. These are just normal, healthy food choices. For building bones, I'm going to want you to add some full-fat dairy, Greek yogurt, heavy cream, cream cheese, and cheese. You'll get a lot of calcium from these substances. Of course, really look at your fats, proteins, and carbohydrate ranges based on that continuum I just showed you. And then include mostly green vegetables or the low glycemic ones, the non-starchy ones. Include healthy fat like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, grass-fed butter, beef tallow, and lard. And of course, really drink your water to stay hydrated. So there are two basic essential nutrients for the body. Essential means your body can't make them. You have to consume them. The first are fatty acids. They're mandatory for life. I've talked about this before. The second are proteins, amino acids. They're mandatory for life. How many essential carbohydrates are there? There aren't any. Your body does not require you to eat carbohydrates. Let me say that again. Your body does not require you to eat carbohydrates. It makes its own glucose if it needs it. You don't have to eat glucose-containing foods. Your body is just fine without them, and has been for hundreds of years. So, final tips, you've heard these. I went over these in the last part of this series. Add your bone supplements, your vitamins and minerals. Go back and watch my osteoporosis video. It talks a lot about the bioavailable calcium and mineral supplements that I recommend. Of course, these are basic supplements I think everybody should be taking. Vitamin D3, vitamin K2 is MK7, collagen, and magnesium glycinate. These are basics in my opinion. Adopt a diet that's on that continuum according to your own carbohydrate tolerance. Include high-fat dairy, plain Greek yogurt, cream cheese, and cheese. Check your blood sugar and your ketones so you know what your body is doing with the foods you eat. Increase your daily intake of those healthy fats to build ketones. Butter, lard, olive oil, tallow. Comment below, some of you in my international audience, for the kinds of fats that you use in your country. Take out all the processed foods, sugary drinks, and grains. You don't need to eat these. Your body doesn't need them. Begin a daily exercise regimen with a combination of aerobics and resistance training, high-impact training if you're able to do that. Add daily MCT or coconut oil. That's great for your brain and your metabolic health. And institute some intermittent fasting regimens. Eat 1 meal a day or eat 2 meals a day. There's no reason that the human body needs to snack all the time. Fasting is a natural part of what humans have done for hundreds of years. Thanks for stopping by another part in my Keto and Bone Health 101 series. Of course, I have a Keto 101 series, and I have a Lab Work 101 series. So go and watch my 101 series so you are very educated on some of the basics for health, longevity, and of course this series specifically on bone health. Hit the notifications and remember to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.